Hi, everyone. It's Kate Byers, founder of the Good Life Institute and creator of the Corporate Women Unleashed program. I'm excited to be chatting with you today about purpose. So we recently did a broadcast on passion, and it's very common right now in our languaging. It's very trendy to say, I just need to figure out my purpose, right? If I just knew what my purpose was, then I would know exactly how to be happy. If I could just find my purpose, like what am I meant to do here on this earth during this life? Okay, let's pull that apart a little bit because, our expertise is with burnout and it's surround, which is, tied to how we work and our beliefs about how to live a successful life. Okay. So I'm going to invite you to consider some new beliefs, because all the beliefs that we have right now obviously are what we have discovered in our modern era of like the worlds we've grown up in and the things we've seen in the media and what we were told in school and all these good things, right? But I want to take a much broader view, because purpose is not necessarily something like, and I get where it comes from, right? Like that you were sent here to do, okay? Our purpose on the most objectively truthful level is to survive and thrive and move the species forward. So think about that. If our purpose was not to survive and thrive, we wouldn't have humans. We might have a bunch of animals, we might have a bunch of dinosaurs, but if we don't survive and thrive, and this is like evolutionary behavior, right? Or theory. So sorry, I'm hearing things outside of my office and I'm being distracted from you all. I am now present. Okay. So what we want to do is really think about purpose in a different way. So if my purpose is to be a human, like my dog's purpose is to be a dog and an ant's purpose is to be an ant, then I know that I'm living on purpose already. I've done it. I've checked the box because purpose is really about you getting your needs met effectively, which again helps the process of the next generation moving forward, right? So if I know how to get my needs really effective, I'm going to teach my children in different ways. They're going to get their needs met even more effectively, right? That's going to open doors for them. And then they're going to teach their children differently. And so here we go, that we are able to move our species forward, evolve our species, because we're getting our needs met at an incredibly high level. Okay. So now, of course, we are working with, very successful people who are challenged with burnout. So I think we can all agree that if we live our lives in a state of burnout, in a state of depletion, in a state of regret, because we've never, we've never met our needs at a very high level, that's probably not going to meet our need for purpose. And so again, what happens is when we start facing burnout or we start feeling disenchanted with our life, we look for an external answer because that's what we've been taught, right? Maybe I just need to discover my purpose. And if I knew what my purpose was, then I would get what we're saying is I'd get my needs met at a very high level. That's not what we say. We say, then I'd be happy, or then I'd feel fulfilled, or whatever. But what you're meaning when you say, I want to be happy and fulfilled, is you're saying, I want to get my needs met really effectively. And it's like, what are your needs? Well, you want to connect with people you love deeply and have meaningful relationships. You want to be healthy, not just alive, but like actually feel, fit or vibrant or have energy and, all those things. You want to be able to have a sense of autonomy, like you're surrounded by people that think like you have social freedom, you have control over your life. Like those things are important to us, right? And so when we talk about burnout, usually those are areas that are depleted. We're not getting a lot of autonomy. We don't feel a sense of control. We don't feel a sense of deep connection with our health or with the people we care about. And then, emotionally, we're feeling a lot of upheaval, exhaustion, highs and lows. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I love my life. Oh my gosh, I hate my life. Why does life have to be so hard? Okay. So when we talk about living on purpose, you're already doing it. So pat yourself on the back, give yourself a big hug. Yay, you did it. So what does it mean when we use in our modern language, I need to live on purpose? Now, this can be confusing because some people just like it just seems like they come out of the womb and they're like, I'm going to be a surgeon. And you're like, wow, how do you know that? Like, they've been talking about being a surgeon since they were 5, and they grow up and they go all the way through college and they become a surgeon. They're like, yeah, you know what? Jane, she always knew her purpose. She knew her purpose was to be a surgeon. Stop it. Stop that. Stop that. Jane didn't know that. That's just the way Jane's wired. Like, she just knew that, and good for her. Right. But we also happen to work with a lot of surgeons who at this point in their career don't want to be surgeons anymore. And they've invested so much into becoming surgeons. They're like, what do I do with my life now if I'm not a surgeon? Because it's so embedded in their identity. So what happens is that part of that was probably Jane, and part of that was her environment that created that sense of, ooh, if you're a surgeon, won't you be happy and successful? Hopefully she is. Then there's another group of us humans who we don't know what we want to do. We're still trying to figure out what we want to be when we grow up. And like for myself, there was never this one thing. There was never like, oh, I want to be a surgeon. I want to be a vet. I want to be a violinist. It was, I want to be a business person. It was like, I don't know. I want to be successful. I think if you'd asked me when I was a kid, I probably would have said, I want to be successful. I don't know what I would have said. Like, there was never this thing I wanted other than I want to be successful. I want to do things and create things and make things and solve problems. That's what I want to do. And if whatever that was called, that's what I wanted to do, because that's what I love. So it was never the specific purpose, right? And so what I discovered was that really I was always living on purpose. And this came out a lot in the research that I did after I burned out and was studying human behavior to figure out how in the hell am I going to be happy and have a huge career, which is what I love, and have a huge life. How do you have those two things? And so what's interesting is that, purpose is, like I said, something that you're already living, but you also want to, understand that when you are living on purpose, it's not something that, again, it's a vocation, right? So purpose is already in you. It's what you're doing. You're getting your needs met at a very high level. However, we're also rationally self-interested, which means because we're human, we're pack animals, if you will, and we like to help each other. We really do. I know we see all this stuff in the news about all the bad people, blah, blah, blah. That just stop. Like, that's not, think about your neighborhood. Think about what happens when tragedy happens to your country or in, your local area. What do humans do? We band together. We really do want to care and help each other. So part of getting your needs met really effectively is helping others, right? So you're already living on purpose, because if right now you feel like I don't do enough because I don't give to charity, or I don't, donate my time on the weekend, well, maybe you're just at a chapter in your life where that's not possible. Sometimes that happens, like you have really little kids or whatever, but you can give $5 to somebody on the street who needs a meal, right? You can carry a gift card. You can take the other day I took a cart up from the grocery store for another woman, and she was just like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, that's living on purpose. It's just getting your needs met really effectively and helping others just do the same. And it doesn't have to be some, massive foundation that you start, or you don't have to be a surgeon at saving lives to have purpose. Oh, and so what I was saying is that, what I figured out in my research was that I had always been living my purpose, because I have always seen in everything I've ever done how what I do helps others, right? It helps me. Yep. And it helps others. So I've always been in sales or marketing, usually almost always marketing. I did sales for a small bit of time when I first graduated college. And, whether it was, I don't know, developing a magazine ad for Tabasco sauce or making sure that, the soda pop company that I work for had, great artwork on their latest grocery store banner, or it was helping the oil company, deliver more oil to, farmers who needed it for their tractors or whatever. Like, I always saw purpose in that, right? Like, let's just take the oil company. Is that glamorous or whatever? I don't know. Probably not as glamorous as working with NASCAR, but like, those farmers need oil. They need to get up in the morning and rely on the fact that their tractor is going to run. They need to have oil that's, I don't know, whatever, easily disposed of, and all the different things you could think of around oil that are important. And if not, that farmer suffers. And then if he suffers, his crops suffer. If his crops suffer, we suffer, right? And so it doesn't have to be that your purpose is this thing you do. I'm a marketer. Like a lot of people look at marketers with derision, like, oh, you just like rip people off and sell people stuff. And I'm like, really? Like, I don't think so. I don't think I've ever gone to someone's house and like given them a big noogie and said, buy this or else. It's like we're all going through life trying to get our needs met. And some people need oil for their tractors. Other people need purple dresses. And other people want to buy a soda pop and have a refreshing afternoon with a soda pop, like whatever. Like, I don't think that's bad. And so, recognizing that purpose doesn't have to be what we would call like benevolent or sacrificial or any of those things. Purpose is also how you show up. Let's just say in your workplace, what type of colleague are you? What type of worker are you? What type of leader are you? Those things are important too, right? And so we have purpose in how we show up in our relationships with people and in relation to the people that are in our environment. How do we show up in our home life? I have purpose as a mother to my children. What kind of mother do I want to be? How do I want to interact with my children? What sort of footprint do I want to leave behind for them? I have purpose as a wife. I have purpose as a neighbor. What kind of neighbor do I want to be? And so this whole idea of like, if I could just find my purpose, like what I was designed to do. I mean, there's some religious context to it, and I get that, but that's that you were designed to be human. And so if we give it a different context, the problem with that is you're always searching for that and you're missing what's right in front of you. Okay. It's like, no wonder we're burning out, right? We're chasing this thing that's so ethereal and it's out there and I'm supposed to discover it. Oh my God, Jane knew she wanted to be a surgeon and I'm the loser. I don't know what I want to be. I'm just like a business person or whatever. And it's like, no, you're not. You're a human. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. And so if you're feeling burnout, it's not because you're not living on purpose. It's not because you haven't discovered your purpose. It's not because there's this thing you're supposed to do out there and the universe is waiting for you to discover it. Doesn't mean that you can't change jobs, change vocations, change marriages, change where you live. Like there's all sorts of experiences we can have in this life that we can choose that may or may not meet our needs really effectively. So that's the kicker right there. If it meets your needs effectively, awesome. You know what? Go start that foundation. I think that's amazing. How incredible. We have specific organizations that we support. We have specific organizations that we donate our time to as a family, as a company. That feels great. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. But if you're beating yourself up because you have not found your purpose and what's this thing you're supposed to do, you already are it. You're doing it, Now, you might say, well, where I'm having the most purpose right now, or like in the career I'm at, I don't feel like I have much impact. I don't have much of a voice. I'm not enjoying this, job where I'm at. Well, that's just the wrapper, right? Like the purpose is still there. Just the wrapper that you're in right now, like the candy wrapper, just isn't something that you're finding joy in. Okay. But as we've talked before, just changing the candy wrapper doesn't necessarily going to give you more joy, but there are jobs that we could do. Like as a marketer, I've never enjoyed the analytics part of marketing. Like I use the analytics. I want to see that, give me the report, but I don't want to chunk out that report. I don't want to turn it out. Now I've had to, in my junior years as a marketer, do those things, but I don't like, so it's like, whew, okay, let's do this. And so there's times when we're working in a part of our job or a part of our field, or maybe even in a company where you're not finding a lot of joy, and that's okay, because you can create joy by getting your needs met. And if you need to be at that company right now, that's fine. It won't be your forever job. It'll just be what you're doing right now to, create financial security for yourself. But eventually then you can continue. And what's great about those jobs is it gives you an opportunity then to obviously have an income without pressure and look around to see, what else you want to do. But if you're looking for this, lightning bolt to strike you, and you're like, oh my God, I found my purpose, and I would encourage you to also watch the broadcasts I've done on passion. There's not a thing, you know what I mean? Like the work we do with the Good Life Institute and Corporate Women Unleashed is extremely meaningful. And it's extremely, it changes women's lives. It changes the lives. It's the butterfly effect. You change one person's life and everyone in their environment gets to benefit from that. it's incredible what we do, but that doesn't mean that I couldn't work myself into burnout. It doesn't mean that like this is my calling, this is what I was intended to do. It's just what I'm doing. I've always wanted to start my own company. I've worked for so many family-owned companies before, and I always looked at those people and I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. How do you run a company? And that's where it began. It didn't begin on like, I have found my life's purpose and I must now, wrap myself in robes and go forth and do this thing. Like, what? No, it was like, hey, we know how to do this thing. And all of our friends are telling us that it's really friggin' cool. We need to teach other people it. And I want to start a company. Oh my God, what if I could have a company that taught people that thing? Well, that would be cool. Let's see if I can make it happen. You know what I mean? So it's not like a lightning bolt struck me on the head and it was like, hey, your purpose is to do this thing. It's like, no, this is what I'm doing. And yes, it's fulfilling. But if I didn't, what do I want to say? If I didn't drink, what I teach, if I didn't eat what I teach, I can burn out easily in this occupation, right? Because when you're working in an occupation where you're helping others and people are in need and they're in burnout and their health is at risk, their relationships are at risk, their job and their income is at risk because they're going to walk away from that. That could be a 24/7 job. Like you could never turn the lights off on that, right? But you have to, again, understand how to structure success and understand that this isn't my purpose. This is what we do. And this is something that's incredibly fulfilling, but I could go back to selling motor oil and I could be really fulfilled too, right? Either one are both fulfilling. I'm helping people get their needs met at a really high level. And that's what you are doing too. So I hope that helps. If you are facing burnout, if you're thinking that you need to change jobs, if you're running around looking under, dustbins and rocks for your purpose, stop. Just call us. Let's just talk with one of our coaches. Everyone here has a, incredible professional background. They understand very, very clearly how to see the signs of burnout, what's going on for you, what's possible. And if we can help you, fabulous. If we can't, that's cool too, right? So either way, we're going to get you to a resource and help you see what, it may be difficult for you to see right now. We've also got some fabulous training that's out there. Hopefully you've seen that. So watch, our latest webinar presentation. And so you can understand better what we teach, what I discovered in my research and the framework that, we put together that just works. It just is fabulous when you dial it in. So I hope this has been great for you. I have enjoyed chatting with you and I will see you next time.